I was dreaming of the Conference League. But how are we supposed to get there?
Hey, you know what my grandfather says?
What?
Get back to work!
It was a season that began wonderfully, with us nearly defeating the champions at the Etihad. Only for a late penalty. And then an exciting end to Liverpool. They had Simeone Inzaghi as manager, and behind 1-0, Moulin did this to equalize in added time. However, in the 96th minute, okay, Asugo, Bayless, Reed, he sees Hale. That was followed up by the beatdown of Everton. We looked like the real deal, so against Wolves and West Brom, we didn't win. This was the story for the first part of the campaign, defeating Spurs and putting in a valiant effort against Arsenal where we won the second half, lose to Bournemouth, Brighton, and Leicester, two of which were at home. Newcastle, who were in first place, easy, a 2-2 draw. Chelsea with Pep Guardiola since Poch went to Real Madrid, we're defeating them. Well, until the 75th minute, where our guy loses Kendry Paez, and then 5 minutes later, Reece James, Southampton, Blackburn, and Derby, Picasso. At least we defeated Nottingham Forest, but all of that had us in 13th place, where fans questioned the tactic I was using. Alright. For some reason, I just said, F it, let's use an attacking tactic. While it did attack well, defending, it did not. So we scrapped this in December, and despite the results I mentioned being underwhelming, we were no longer losing. Technically a 5-match undefeated run, which turned to 6 against Crystal Palace. Roldan and Omari Kellyman contributed to the win. It seemed obvious that we were too good for the drop, but is European football attainable? Well, with the transfers of Castello Lukaba, I thought so, but he's not as good as you'd think. Sam McCallum was our most expensive transfer, but the experienced lad from Norwich wasn't doing so hot. A few youngsters came in too, such as this Ukrainian winger who barely improved. Along with that, there were players exiting. Sadly, UK Knight, leaving for Swansea, was the main out. Another one of our lower league heroes who wasn't quite cutting it in the Prem. Many will be sad, and even angry that he didn't receive a proper push. Although, I could have gotten more money if he left last year. The final noteworthy transfer from the summer was Noni Madueke. Nobody was giving him looks, maybe for his previous issues on the pitch, or his injury struggles. I thought he'd be class. So if he plays 25 times this season, we'll give him 80k a week. Before delving into January transfers, we had Manchester United to finish off December. Missing out on the Champions League, the manager they decided to hire to get back into it was Blackburn's guy who previously managed in Canada. Tommy Rielden Jr. was not on anybody's radar, but we faced off at the Mornflakes Stadium. Mickey Mouse scored in the second minute. Not a great beginning, and it wasn't looking good for us. Prior to the half, United earned a penalty, and Rashford would score. Remembering the Euros nearly a decade ago. Still, United hit the iron again prior to the interval, so after a few adjustments, we came out swinging. It was like a new team stormed out there. Lukeba, who was temporarily moved to left back, confused the Manchester United defenders and keeper as an unexpected pass to Roldan gave an easy equalizer. Not too long later, we were playing some beautiful stuff, but unfortunately, Roldan got stopped on the end of it. However, off the corner, the ball ricocheted to the Argentine, and he would take the lead, which ended as the winner, Roldanistuta. If we focused on the cup side of things, we made the Carabao Cup semi-final. One step away from Wembley, our two-legged obstacle was Arsenal. Luckily, they weren't playing their strongest team, which wouldn't matter since we couldn't take our chances at home, while a different former River Plate striker made a huge difference. Roldan remembered being in the youth team at River and thinking, damn, he's tall. Even as adults, he's still over half a ruler shorter. But Roldan's partner Olale matched him in height and gave us a tiny sliver of hope. The Englishman had been barraged with interest from clubs all over England. That included Arsenal. He wanted to leave, and I told him, sure, for 130 million. With a contract until 2034, worth the rush. Unfortunately, in the second leg at the Emirates, this Delgado guy continued to put Roldan to shame as he grabbed a brace with Arsenal comfortably advancing. What about the FA Cup, you ask? Well, we made it to the 4th round, and with Plymouth in our way, we felt confident as we never lost to them. We were absolutely stunned as they scored an 86-minute winner on us, as Joe Reed loves losing the ball.
Oh, let's go! That's class!
The keeper in goal was Hoyenball, who arrived to potentially overthrow Klaassen. The now 30-year-old was having a tough campaign. 37 goals conceded in the first 19 fixtures of the season had me questioning whether he was good enough anymore. With 2 losses in the Premier League to open the new year, granted, we dueled supposed strong opposition. However, help was on the way. That came in an Italian package as Filippo Misori arrived from Hanover 96. An actual right back. On his debut, he aided in a clean sheet at Wolves. Then, on his home debut, not only did we see a Max Woodcock goal against Everton, we also saw the Italian score twice, having fans fall in love at first sight. Plus, another clean sheet, although that can't be solely due to Misori. Granted, he scored again versus West Brom, along with another shutout. Did we buy a whole new back line? Nardiella was recently relegated with Norwich and was desperate to leave with Chelsea and Real Madrid interested. Yet the 38 million release clause wasn't worth it to them, but it was to me. The problem was that I needed more money. The board increased it, but most of it was spent on the 2 names mentioned previously. Yet we got offers for puntings and said Nihao as 17 million was received. 20% went to the Belgian. There was also this. Okay, well, Ola Kigbe hasn't been playing much, and while I thank him for his efforts, we shipped him off to Derby for a little over 12 million. Still not enough. So I looked at Asugo and told him to get ready to learn some Chinese, pal, as 15 million was coming in.
Get ready to learn Chinese, buddy.
However, with deadline day arriving, the Portuguese man was taking his sweet time to make a decision. I already had Nartiello prepared as he was waiting in the trainer's room, yet Asugo was contemplating whether he was ready to learn Chinese. He thought about it for so long, the deadline day passed, Nartiello's transfer was cancelled, and since letting him leave now was pointless, Asugo stayed. Luckily, I had a backup plan, bringing in Samuel Cotto for 5 million. Nevertheless, he wasn't our backline savior. The man who turned around our defense was the teenager Randy Kaiser. I do understand that he doesn't look that great, but the $500,000 given to Villa was worth it. Remember the clean sheets in December? Kaiser started. Same with the ones in January. With Phillips injured, Von Kaiser continued to earn starts, and against Spurs, another clean sheet. A red card 8 minutes in did help, although they were tough to break down, and when we earned a penalty, Olale missed. I am aware I'm probably pronouncing his name wrong, but Olale sounds cool. But when he's needed most, Max Woodcock delivered in the 85th, giving us the double over Spurs. Even hosting Arsenal, who we've conceded to 10 times in 3 fixtures, they were kept out. Scoreless until the 77th, where Roldan, facing off with his hero Delgado, would finally score. We were moments away from finally defeating the Gunners, but a corner arrived in added time, and the tall figure of Delgado won it and grabbed the rebound. Not yet, little bro. Regardless, that didn't diminish the Kaiser effect. A late Madueke goal at Bournemouth, Roldan and Olale versus Brighton, Leicester, who were cooking this year, were impeded by a brilliant performance from Madueke. Newcastle at home, well, we weren't winning. How did you get Madueke? Is he always so oh, okay, I thought we just lost the ball. Oh, we just did. All right, take 2, lads. Oh, I was just joking. I was just joking. No! I was just joking. I didn't think you guys were going to be serious and lose the ball again. Granted, we just did it again. Should have taken this off after the first one. Despite that setback, we didn't give up our chase for a European spot. Bayless, I am about to sub you off. Maduke. Let's go! Then prior to the added minutes, do they have Marco Rose as manager? Because that's an interesting choice. Woodcock, Mafla. Maduke! That girl is a real crowd. A comeback worthy of continental football. 8th might be enough, but to be safe, we wanted to push further. Clean sheets continued as Chelsea away ended scoreless. Unfortunately, the international break could have brought a halt to our momentum. Thankfully, it didn't stop our defending, as Southampton were defeated 1-0, and Blackburn didn't see us concede. Well, we didn't score either. Actually, we almost lost, but thanks to Kaiser sacrificing his life by getting sent off, we survived. But without the man, our mojo was messed up, as he got a 3-match suspension. That saw a 2-2 draw to Nottingham Forest, but smoking Derby County 4-0 placed us a mere couple points from a secure European spot. Plus, Brentford were our next opponents, and they were coming off a 5-0 destruction from Valencia in the Europa League. Yet, after taking a 1-0 lead, we conceded prior to the half and less than 10 minutes after the interval to lose. Following, a stunning second-minute strike from Palace on the penultimate matchday sealed our fate into 8th place. Still a great season with solid performances from specific individuals. Yet, would we be Conference League dreaming? Well, the Carabao Cup was won by Arsenal, and they were already in the Champions League. The FA Cup was lifted by Leicester, who finished in 7th. Man City, who lost both of those finals, sacked Didier Deschamps. In addition to Liverpool's Conference League victory, and the UEFA coefficient place race giving England an extra spot for the Champions League, that means Tommy Wheeldon Jr.'s United earned Champions League. But that also means that we're Conference League dreaming. Let's go! With Crewe Alexandra never being in a European competition, let alone winning one, could one of our dreams come true to end our journey? Or what about our other dream, and actually get to play at Wembley, whether in the Carabao or FA Cup? With 85 million, I better hope so. We had to defeat Casapia over 2 legs in order to properly qualify for the Conference League. Prior to that, some shopping had to be done. We got a rain check on Josh Nardiello to a sigh of relief. The center half who can play on the right was crucial because I hate Portugal.
Porque ele disse foda-me.
Dario Asugo got sold to Burnley, but don't worry, he's got a friend in João Crespo. Then David Tavares Fernandes, who I don't even remember if I mentioned him before, was sold to Leipzig. 15 million for each. I didn't dislike all countries who could speak Portuguese, since Brazil improved our attack. Antonio Barzaghi joined our wings with his great overall game, but does lack consistency. 15.5 mil was given to Fluminense. Add 2.5 to that total, and Palmeiras were forced to hand us Fernandes. Just Fernandes. An incredible striker option, which didn't make Roldan too happy. That was all my summer ins, and while there were a few failed signings exiting, it is worth saying goodbye to one lad, Yoshinari Nishikawa, who was desperate for the Stuttgart move. A good locker room guy, we wish you the best in your single appearance. With all those transactions, could we officially begin Conference League dreaming? Well, it would be pretty embarrassing if I sold 3 Portuguese players, just to lose to a bunch of them. Casapia did brilliant work to finish in 5th, but with a loss to Feyenoord, they dropped to our competition. Throughout this adventure, their country does have history in Europe. Sorry, Benfica. However, Casapia seemed below our level. By halftime, the Mornflake Stadium saw 3 for us, but Pablo, yes, just Pablo, got Casapia a sliver of hope with individual brilliance. We were blazing, but the 420 kicked in after the break. The Crew showed weakness, as Pablo dribbled down the wing, with everyone missing his delivery except for Charles Yuki. Not a result I was too pleased with, but maybe it was coming. In our opening 2 games of the Prem, we conceded a 95th minute equalizer to Leicester and only defeated 10-man Brighton with Missouri's strike in the 91st. Although, prior to our Lisbon travels, Leeds was not an issue. Maybe I'm overthinking things. That thought quickly rushed out of my mind when Casapia equalized the tie on their first shot. The tiny Estadio Pina Manique was bumping, and it was impacting our players' ability to finish.
How do we keep missing? How do you shoot that for a throw-in?
Coming out of the interval, we relearned how to take our chances and ran rampant on Casapia. 3 goals in less than 15 minutes ended an uncomfortable tie, confirming qualification. An undefeated start in the Premier League was nice too. Granted, before facing any big challenges, our Conference League journey began. Finish in the top 8, you go straight to the round 16. 9 to 24th means you fight in a playoff round. Along with us, the favorites were Fiorentina, FC Köln, and Real Sociedad. So it all began in Croatia, at Rijeka, where their club went through a grueling 3 rounds of qualifying. For our lineup, part of me wanted to use guys who've been here for the longest or have become favorites, Roldan included, who did well to open his European account. On the other hand, it had problems like Kaiser. Ever since his red card last season, he lost his confidence and succumbed to terrible mistakes, including this one for the equalizer. Moments later, Rijeka would make it 2. The miracles of Kaiser wouldn't be repeated, seeing him loaned out in January. Forgetting about that, we needed to make a comeback, and the second half substitution of Noni Madueke turned this around. The 30-year-old did get his wage hike and proved his worth by assisting Cotto off a free kick. Shortly after, he would find the winner. What these results taught me was that these fixtures weren't going to be simple. Sturm Graz confirmed that, mostly due to a calamity of errors allowing them back into the match twice. That earned them a draw. Belarusian side Dynamo Minsk followed. At Mark Overmars Park, who decided to name a 60,000 plus capacity stadium for him? Regardless, this wasn't as stressful, and that can be attributed to Max Woodcock, who assisted 3 times. It was nice to have that fixture, especially with Köln upcoming. A respectable side who finished in 7th with the likes of Eamon Kari, Eric Martel, and Nacho Ferri. Unfortunately, Andre Breitenreiter's side played Park the Bus. Despite a strong lineup ourselves, we had trouble breaking their lines of defense. The woodwork helped them too. As the game went on, we got closer to their breaking point, and in the 59th, Olale broke the deadlock. That was enough as the clean sheet was maintained. Thankfully, the sweat these fixtures provided cooled down. Aberdeen away was surprisingly easy, with a 3-0 thumping. Finally, hosting Sheriff Tiraspol saw no shady business with 4 goals in 29 minutes, although they started defending for their lives afterwards. Regardless, the league phase was done, meaning we finished in 2nd, seeing us automatically qualify for the round of 16. Meanwhile, what happened domestically? Thanks to Olale and Roldan sitting on the bench, Delgado didn't come out as we defeated Arsenal for the first time. Undefeated so far, that saw us on top. Should I add another dream to this list? Maybe the Premier League dream belonged to them. It was a difficult portion of the season as we visited the Etihad next and began with a bang. Ashley Phillips with a first-minute header even shocked himself, although City decided not to play their best keeper. At the end of the day, it is Manchester City, and they would respond with Rico Lewis. The Citizens, of course, were our former parent club, and their 2 Scottish lads we had on loan developed incredibly. Hanratty unfortunately wouldn't get as many starts as Dean Martin, who got subbed off for being crap. Fast forwarding to the final 10 minutes, an absurdly stupid goal to concede, but only a few minutes later, we responded with Kellyman at the far post. City then went from kickoff to take back the lead. And now we got another highlight off the kickoff. What's happening here? Roll down to Ho Young Min. Ho Young Min. Whip it in. Madueke! A game of ping pong it seems, but who would get match point? Neither. A 3-3 draw is all she wrote. The Chelsea scoreline would end similarly. Olale would put on a show, firing a hat-trick to give us a 3-1 lead. Yet, Guardiola's men responded swiftly as they'd earn 2 fairly quickly to give us another 3-all. Now, a different similarity to the City fixture occurred versus Nottingham Forest. In the 81st, Joe Reed's failed interception led to Felipe making it 2-1. Forest got too confident, however, as Kellyman easily went down the right to find Roldan. A couple actions later, we found ourselves attacking once more, and Joe Reed made up for his earlier error to grab the winner. That went alongside some big wins. 2-1 over Wolves, who similar to us, had a strong start, and the demolition of Everton, which was followed by a second one in the EFL Cup. Most teams had a match in hand on us and Newcastle, but we were there with them at the top. Let me quickly adjust the list of dreams. Away loss losses like that can happen, even to the best. But this didn't ruin our form, nah. We decided to go on another undefeated run. Derby smoked 3-0 thanks to Just Fernandes and Olale. Tommy Wheeldon Jr.'s Man United, easy. Phillips loves scoring against Mancunians, and Ho Young-min had a special match himself. To conclude the year, it was Liverpool at Anfield. After last season's shambolic league campaign, Zinedine Zidane had them on the right track. We've had a tough history at Anfield, but by the break, it was scoreless. Then, out of the tunnel, we were cooking, as Just Fernandes was sent in.
Wait, Fernandes? Just Fernandes? Oh, how did you miss?
That was our first shot, and when you don't take your chances, you end up doing something stupid.
You can't lose stupid.
Luckily, that shaked off our stupid, as unlike a man who blames someone else for his problems, we go out there and solve it with Olale. Unfortunately, we still haven't figured out defending set pieces. Thankfully, being down by 1 to Liverpool was easily solved, with Olale once more to equal it. It was bold of us to go somewhat attacking at Anfield, but entering added time, we kept our persistence. Off a throw-in, Madueke quickly received the ball and found the winner with his magical left foot. An offside scare prior to the end was the closest Liverpool got, as we earned a massive dub. With a messy Premier League table due to fixture congestion, it's hard to tell how this is going to shape up when everything evens out. Now, could we fulfill one of our dreams? Following a dominant win over Cardiff in December, we advanced to the Carabao Cup semi-finals. It's been a tournament seeing a plethora of scorers, seeing us grab 20 in 4 rounds. Returning to where we were a year ago, Pep's Chelsea would be our Wembley roadblock. Compared to last season, they were underperforming. Harvey Elliott was their sole investment, and their starting 11 had curious names like Andreas Becker, Luka Mallet, and Mark Jones. With 2 fixtures every week, squad planning was crucial at this stage of the season, and ours was a lot smarter. Am I saying I'm more of a genius than Pep? Well, look at the score. Former player Madueke, along with his sub Alexandra, provided a positive advantage heading into the second leg at Stamford Bridge. They responded with more attacking intent, but a first half goal from Olale knocked any momentum as we made it to Wembley. In a little over a month, we will play our first cup final. On our way there, results in the Premier League were mostly positive. Multiple 90th minute Madueke winners arrived, and Ho Young-min was approaching his resurgence. Leeds and Southampton, on the other hand, were the blemishes. The latter gave me whiplash, as the goals came quickly, ending our 14-match undefeated run. So why was Tom Booth starting? Another Clausen injury, you retort? Yes. Okay, not this time. Clausen was our Prem keeper, while Hoyenhall was for the Cups. However, there were a few instances where I forgot to take out the ladder for the Premier League. Okay, there were at least 5 occasions. And this pissed off Clausen. I felt bad, but he wasn't having it. So when Salzburg made an offer for him, it risked unsettling him, and I didn't want any headaches. The offer was accepted, and Clausen regrettably departed. It was unfortunate, especially when Hoyenhall got injured in the FA Cup versus Manchester United. We were smoking them as usual with a 3-0 lead, but the Norwegian broke his wrist by catching the ball. Luckily, I learned from previous experience and had Booth on the bench. After that Southampton loss though, I desperately needed a keeper, and Alex Paulson from New Zealand was our man. He looked very good for the price and would start for the remainder of the campaign. He was joined along with Andre Santos, who arrived to share the Segundo Volante role with Bayliss. On their debuts, a clean sheet was kept against Brentford. We also signed Bart van Rooij to make sure Nardiello wouldn't have to play right back. Except sometimes he would, since I didn't register the Dutchman for the Conference League. Regardless, with the final near, there were difficult matches approaching. Those were in North London, as Arsenal dealt with us quite easily, while Spurs ended in a 0-0 draw. However, 8 days before meeting Man City at Wembley, we had a dress rehearsal. They were playing a stronger team, including their 2 £300 million signings, and their actual starting keeper. Although, they had this shrimp at center back, which gave me a strategy. Until they changed it right away when we nearly scored another first-minute opener. You're smarter than I thought, Vincenzo Italiano. Or maybe he wasn't, because we began dominating. Olale, followed up by Noni Madueke, and finishing up the half was just Fernandes making it 3. We doubled our goal tally by the end as Manchester City were absolutely stunned. The only worry was that there was no way they would play this badly in our crucial meeting. Although, could we keep our attack rampant? It was the day we stepped onto the Wembley pitch. The Carabao Cup is sometimes dubbed as a trophy nobody cares about winning until you get to the latter stages, but not me. The final was my objective, and if we were here already, why not win it? We had to be sharp defensively early on, as a massive block prevented an early goal. Huh? Not the guy I expected to score on us. And City seemed to have stepped up their game. At least 20 minutes.
Oh, win that. Let's go, Ruffini. Oh, Lale. Roldan. Get the guitar.
Dubbed as the next Gabriel Batistuta, these big goals hyped up that comparison. Our opponent's response was a pathetic Haaland shot, and the right side of their defense was struggling, as our other South American Barzaghi gave us the lead on our second shot. Incredible scenes. But less than 10 before the interval, City showed why they were here, with Haaland being found for the equalizer. An incredible opening 45 for the neutral. Despite netting it twice, we had more in the tank.
Here we go, Bayless, Misori. Madueke, inside. This is his spot. Oh, what a save by Truben. Corner kick, Madueke. Oh, Nardiello gets on the end of it, but another save by the Ukrainian. Barzaghi. Back post to Madueke. Back to Lale. Truben is on fire. 3 saves within minutes. Truben is saying he is him, and I can't deny that right now.
It started becoming a back and forth affair, with us going one way and them the other. Keepers were stepping up, but entering the final 20 minutes...
Oh no, corner kick for Manchester City with less than 20 to go. Haaland for some reason is taking it. Near post. Oh no! Mustafa Basoglu heads it and somehow beats both our keeper and defender.
With all the work we've done so far, we can't lose it like this. Yet, they began taking control, but give us a sliver of a chance, and we'll...
Wait, no, he's not. Barzaghi! Oh! Roldan, no! Oh no!
Spaces opened up behind our defense, as no matter what we did, we wouldn't get another opportunity. Roldan had a 3-on-1 at the end, but choked it. Manchester City lifted the EFL Cup to our dismay. It's incredible how we couldn't score a single goal in the second half, but hats off to Truben for the massive performance. We fell short there, but there was still the FA Cup. Against Arsenal, it was 0-0 with it heading to a replay.
Bayless back to Rouge, back post, Barzaghi. Oh no, Arsenal on the counter. Sirens are going off. Arsenal are on the counter. Oh no, Delgado's wide open.
So much pain to conclude February. March, however, brought forth the Conference League round of 16, where we faced Rijeka again. They proved to be tough earlier, and the away tie was first. It also seemed like the bad momentum continued into this, with Alexandrov tripping up Grachan in the 18th minute. Thankfully, Paulson made the stop, and despite the previous month's results, he's been great. It was difficult, but we'd find an advantage in the 60th as Max Woodcock was found for a tap-in. Overcoming a tough night in Croatia brought forth a more comfortable second leg. Bayless, Madueke, and a Ho Young Min brace was more than enough to send us to the quarterfinals next month. In that time frame, we'd be perfect. A late winner past Nottingham Forest from our guy Olale, followed up by 6 past Wolves. The Premier League table began to look interesting. Everton next would continue their crap form against us. They got within 1 with 30 to go, but Max Woodcock would close the casket late. That was fun. But back-to-back away fixtures versus Chelsea and Newcastle? Well, Pep Guardiola's fire was fading away as we took care of them with a pair of Brazilian strikes. That eventually led to Pep spiraling out and getting sacked at the end. Prior to Newcastle though, we ran into a problem. Barzaghi wasn't settling well in England, and that's understandable. Although the reason was that he failed his English course. I'll be honest, man, I'm surprised you're willing to admit that, especially in perfect English. Regardless, versus Newcastle, that didn't matter, as football is a universal language. His strike, along with Phillips, earned us a 2-goal advantage. Despite Newcastle responding with a heavy amount of artillery, they couldn't find the net until the 90th, which was far too late. Once thought to be title challengers, they were now 9 points behind first place Crewe. Even City's game in hand wouldn't be enough. This position was unexpected, but if we're in this spot, we'll do our best to maintain it. For the quarterfinal of the Conference League, Swedish side IFK Göteborg was drawn. They finished 4th in the league phase, but only got here through a penalty shootout win over Anderlecht. Realistically, we shouldn't be having problems with them, and Madueke's opening 13-minute brace set the tone. Unfortunately, Moulin must have been watching Haikyuu the night prior, as a handball got Göteborg within 1. Thankfully, we bounced back straight away with Lukeba and found a 4th from Woodcock. This tie seemed finished, but I did have to use a lot of my best attacking options. With Bournemouth on the weekend, we were a little fatigued. We lost to the Cherries earlier this campaign after they received a new manager bump from Bruce Sirachi. That was a caretaker, but now it was Andre Villas-Boas. I guess the Porto presidency didn't go well. Neither did the start of our fixture. We left 2 guys wide open for a free kick. Not good whatsoever, and we chased this match for a long time. In the 85th minute, luck came our way as Alex Scott on a platter provided Ho Young-min the equalizer. Trying to find a winner was halted as Misori's injury sent us down to 10 men. A draw wasn't ideal.
Oh, don't tell. No. No. No.
Now, Manchester City can pass us with their extra match. We defeat Göteborg in the second leg to confirm our spot in the semis. We'd also deal with Aston Villa and Derby with no issues. Unfortunately, City would also win on those respective match days, including their game in hand. Oh, only a point difference. They might mess up. These are their remaining fixtures, and these are ours. Fiorentina defeated Aberdeen in the Conference League quarters and had to face us for a spot in the final. Winners of 2 previous iterations, perfect through the league phase, their 2032 form. What the hell is going on in Florence? With a young prodigy manager of Aritz Elistundo, they weren't as good as I expected. You're seeing some of their best players on the screen so far, and while they're not bad, they ended up finishing 18th in Serie A. They're not relegated yet because they have a Serie A playoff versus Parma, who finished on the same record as them, which happened because they lost to them on the last day. Despite hosting the first leg, they were disastrous to watch. Sloppy passing led to Ho Young-min's opener, questionable defending provided roll down the next, and I don't even know what they were doing on the third. The second leg provided little resistance, as in the least dramatic fashion, we made the final of the Conference League. I'm very happy about it, yet disappointed from a team with so much history in the competition. That was in spite of several injuries our team was suffering. For a physio No Hyun Wook, Joe Reed's tipped him over the edge as he dipped. I was sad about it too, as Joe Reed could miss the big match. Now, could we pull the impossible and win the Premier League? No. Konanto's equalizer was all she wrote, as City gained a 3-point advantage. Plus, Misori got injured, meaning he will miss the cup final. On matchday 37, Italiano's side played the day before us and basically won the league thanks to Gonzalo Inazio's 86-minute winner. If we won, we'd be 3 points behind, but with at least a 10-goal differential, there would be no chance at the title. Regardless, we lost against United. Annoyingly, we finished in 3rd behind Arsenal. At the end of the day though, the Premier League was never my aim. We can stand proud with what we did. Olale finishing with 20 goals, Madueke having another solid season, and Ho Young-min earning the PFA Young Player of the Year with 10 himself and 4 assists in 10 starts. To make it even better, I won the Manager of the Year, and hopefully that wouldn't be my last trophy. You can enjoy those Manager of the Month awards, Tommy. Tbilisi, Georgia was where we headed. The Boris Pechat Sakayalobis Dinamo Arena hosted Crewe Alexandra versus FC Köln. After losing to us, they won the remaining league phase games, finishing in 5th. A tight round of 16 encounter followed with Heerenveen, where a 2-0 home win sent them through. Sturm Graz in the quarters were destroyed at the Rhein-Energie-Stadion, seeing the Germans face off with Lech Poznan. You'd think the result would be obvious, but the Poles pushed them to extra time, only for a Pierre Langesberg brace to send Köln to the final. We've seen them already, and know what to expect. Prior to kickoff,
Hey, Ryan Dicker!
Ja, what's up?
Good to see you! Hey,
how's it been, man? How's Sutton United?
Well, we just lost the semi-finals, so yeah, it's nice of you to remind me. It's not good.
Sorry about that, but thank you for coming by, man. We got the box upstairs, so hope you enjoy the final. And yeah, you know, we got free drinks and stuff, so we have a good time.
Free drinks is exactly what I need.
Our starting 11 was set up like this. Alex Paulson in goal, who's only conceded once in this competition. Moulin picked ahead of McCallum at left back. Phillips in the center, paired with Castello Luqueba, due to Nardiello having to fill in at the right. In defensive midfield, Joe Reed wasn't ready to play a full 90, so Agustin Ruffini filled in. Tom Bayliss would pair with him. As with his contract ending, this would be his final match at the Crewe. The wings saw Madueke on the right, along with Ho Young Min playing as the wide target forward on the left. Up top, it had to be our best player, Olale, partnering with Roldan. Fernandes wasn't fit to start, coming off his injury.
Yeah, the audacity of that guy to mention the semi-final. Alright, let's see what we got here. We got a couple seltzers, vodka, alright, 77%. Gonna need something a little stronger than that. What? Who are you?
It's Joe.
Joe who?
Joe Hugo. A former player?
Joe Hugo. Right. Name rings a bell. I remember now. There's a reason why I left. It's because of you. Why are you here? Alright, Joe, I'm telling you, this really isn't the time, but who?
Wagwan mate.
Sophisticated big fella saying Wagwan. Who are you?
Sir, this is my club.
It's nice to meet you, whoever you are, but I have no interest in finals right now, so please go away and leave me
Pass me
alone.
that one.
No.
I paid for that.
No, you didn't.
I paid for
it's
that.
Free. It's free.
Who? Nothing's free. I paid for
No,
that.
you didn't pay for the final?
I'm
You didn't pay for the stadium?
I own you.
No bullshit. No one knows me. I'm probably gonna get sacked in the morning.
After all that nonsense, the final began. We're on their end, we're in their attacking third. Madueke on it. Ooh, shot was cleared by their defender. Bayless setting up the corner. Tom Bayless whips it in. And Castello over the bar. Free kick, Madueke whips it in again. Bayless over the bar. Look at the starting goal, the commentator says. Over 1 XG already. But we win it back. Ruffini on it. Finds Moulin. He finds Ho Young Min. Cut back. Rolled down somehow.
I would have scored that.
No, you wouldn't have. No, you wouldn't have.
You don't even remember who I was.
I don't remember you and your hairy legs.
It was a first half filled with many opportunities, but the best chance came from Cone. Could have easily been 1-0 Cone. I'm pleased with the shots we've taken. Just keep that up, and I'm sure a winner will be found. Roldan, though, keeps going. Back post, punched away. Nardiello is going to take it into the box, or out of the box. Madueke, Bayless, block. Are we playing a football match or listening to the block party? Oh, but Cole on top of the box. Even their own players are blocking their own shots. Insane. 50 minutes already. Still 0-0. We've played well. Can we finally get an opener? Ho Young Min. Oh, la, lay.
Yeah! Go, Axel! I love it.
No, not you. Here.
Thanks.
Of course.
This match was eerily similar to the one from the league phase, but that changed really quickly. Spencer on it again. Kari. Block it. Oh!
What the hell is that?
Gonna need more of this.
Defend. Come on.
Out of nowhere, Colin immediately equalizes 1-1. That was very disappointing defending. Very poor by Nardiello. And Bayless finds Nardiello. Madueke. Olale. Ho to Madueke. Saved by Fructal. Retains it. Bayless. Madueke. Blocked. Ho Young Min over and blocked, or saved or whatever. I don't know what's going on. We're creating so much but scoring so little. We've been dominant but conceded a goal. Everything remains even. Roldan, if he's not getting the job done, I can only believe in one other man. That is Max Woodcock.
Yes, Maxie. Why? No, don't bring him on. No, bad idea, bad decision. That's how you lose a final.
Great sub.
Shut up.
Who is that?
You kidding me?
Who's coming on?
Do you watch football?
Olale. He's going by himself. But he's blocked for the umpteenth time. Don't let them. No. Oh my gosh. My oh my. Madueke. Free kick.
Oh!
Yeah!
Off the post and Bayless grabs the rebound. It's given. It's not offside. Crewe Alexandra go up 2-1 with 10 to go. Is Bayless potentially the hero? What was Colin doing off that set piece marking? A couple guys wide open.
Potentially the winner in his final game. Colin had switched from their defensive system, while I decided to clog up the midfield and slow things down to close out this fixture. We'd also bring on Joe Reed.
Taste back. Oh, Phillips loses it. Bad time to lose it. No! Joe Reed concedes a penalty? Or was it Nardiello? What does VAR say? Penalty.
No, of course.
No,
of course.
no.
There's so unprofessional.
Referee.
Ridiculous.
It's the 90th minute. You're gonna call that?
And I'm gonna have egg on my face for going defensive. Penal. Can Paulson prevent this from going to added time? He can't. Nacho Ferry equalizes it.
I had to switch everything back, but with no Roldan, Madueke, or Olale in extra time, it was all up to them.
All right. 30 more minutes of football. Our season is extended against our wishes, but that's what we're in. Woodcock! Max! Max Woodcock has scored! At the start of extra time! Max Woodcock!
Yes!
Max! I told you!
I know him. I know him.
You know
The
somebody.
cock.
Good job.
The cock.
He names the one player.
The cock.
It's not Bayless's moment. It's Max Woodcock's moment. In the final. Guess we don't need to go super intense right now.
We hadn't been able to preserve 2 leads so far, but with 15 to go, I slow things down just a little. With nearly 5 expected goals, little would happen in the remaining time. We maintained possession late, and the ref blew the final whistle.
Are we gonna win the Conference League? Yes, we are. We have won the Europa Conference League. Let's go.
We celebrated as Crewe Alexandra are UEFA Conference League champions. A European trophy for a club with a population of well under 100,000, it was an academy kid who became the hero. From mid-table in League 2 to Conference League winners. This, like many, was an up and down journey. Many called heroes, even some from the first season. Fans dream of their clubs winning a trophy. Some aren't as lucky to see millions and millions spent, but our true difference makers were invaluable.
The save's now available on my Patreon.